piece of shit 97 Prelude.
Yep, it's missing a tranny. Yep. And that'll do it.
So, this was actually a freak accident. This and all of this, all freak accident. I was actually just trotting along on the highway in 5th gear at like 70 miles an hour, and all of a sudden I hear a loud pop. Probably those gears being sheared off. And my mom was in the car at the time, actually, and she gave me the most horrid look in her face like the car was about to spontaneously combust. And I just start manically laughing, because at that point I know, I mean, you can't fix this shit. And I live in North Atlanta. You notice I say Atlanta, not Atlanta. If you're from Atlanta, you say Atlanta. I was in North Birmingham at the time, which is about 220, 50 miles, and I didn't have 5th gear anymore, so I knew if one gear was about to loose, the rest were too. And sure as shit, the next day I attempt to drive this piece of shit all the way back home, and at the Georgia-Alabama border, I lost like, what? I don't know, you gear fanatics tell me what gear I lost. Gears I lost. I'm not necessarily a transmission person. I know how manuals work. The forks move back and forth, and this is like first, second, this is like third, fourth, first, third, seventh, second, first, third, second, fourth, fifth, somewhere, I don't know, fifth maybe right there. I know what that is, it's synchro. Anyway, lost a lot of gears, got it towed home, and it's been sitting here since January.
Got an oil leak on your VTEC, bro.
The bitch of it is, every time I buy fucking wheels, my fucking car breaks. Story number 1, I buy wheels for a fucking BMW E46. Yeah, I know, I should have known. Better yet, it was a 330. Bought the wheels, I was literally backing out of the McDonald's parking lot from where I bought it, and the fucking car blew up. Overheated apparently or some shit, I don't know. Mustang, I sold it. Third car, this piece of shit. Curb rash. What should I do with this piece of shit? Should I turbo it? Steering rack's like from my grandmother's fucking 1986 Buick, so.
Speaking of a 1986 piece of shit.
A piece of shit Fiero. But it's not any kind of Fiero. It has a war wagon. I promise there's not a Iron Duke under here. There's something else under there. Maybe another day you'll see that. Almost ripe as my good VTEC. Sure thanks, my track. You're sexy. And the bitch of it is, this is a really fucking mint interior. Especially for it being a 97. And aside from the fact that it has like 220,000 miles on it. That was a weird voice inflection. I mean, it's good. Aside from the smell of that black iced air freshener that always sits up there in used cars. I think I've had one in every single used car I've bought. And this is number 18. That's 19. But, I mean, it's a good interior. It smells good, it drives good, everything works. Oh, that thing, hold on. Let's take a moment and talk about Honda's fucking MCP panels. Hold on. Let's take a second and talk about Honda's fucking MCP panels. First, the working door handle. But what the fuck was Honda thinking with this goddamn shit? Yeah, let's have the entire car wired through this one panel. And furthermore, let's make the most brittlest wires right in here where it's always fucking opening and closing. So that way when you're at, 180,000 miles, 100,000 miles, the power wire that goes to this panel ends up controlling everything in here. Doors, locks, windows, mirrors, radio, interior lights, and a bunch of other shit. So I had to spend my entire goddamn weekend one weekend. Took off this panel and accidentally the door, but I didn't really need to do that. And had to rewire a 25-pin connector, and I ended up just soldering everything together. Put butt connector somewhere in there too, but I mean discos. Definitely discos. Discos. It works now, because there's no fucking connector. They use the most brittle wires, too. Oh, okay, I take that back. There's one more thing I want to mention. To get to this fucking panel is the most time-consuming piece of shit I've ever seen from a Japanese car company. With the Toyota, you take a flathead and you pry along here. You can tell I've had prior Toyotas. This is my first Honda. That's why I didn't know this. But no, you have to take off this entire goddamn door panel, minus the dog. And then underneath, there's probably 6 different screws that's holding each single component in. Welcome to the parts lot. Sad part is, I don't know where any one of those bolts go. I hope I know where those go, though. Holy shit, the box is here. No fucking shit, dumbass. The friendly UPS guy just came by. He actually backed his truck up right here, and piece of shit had to be actually signed for. Don't know why, because clearly liability stops when it enters UPS. Whoever created packaging nuts needs to go to hell.
Okay, B, go the fuck away.
Wait, peanuts. Fuck them. Not the edible kind. Those are actually pretty good. These kind. Fuck them. Just spent the last fucking 30 minutes clearing that out. But looks like we got a decent tranny. I mean, seals are actually still. I mean, I can still bend them. They're still pretty. They're not dry at all. So I'm thinking this was a low mileage car. This spins, but I think that's fine. The gears. 1, 2, 3, 4. First. It's gonna be fine, so pretty confident. None of the things were unplugged, and then the axle, he actually gave me the axle boot because he didn't apparently want to take this out. I'm not gonna put it in tonight or tomorrow or the next day. Probably gonna wait another week in typical fashion because I'm a fucking procrastinator and there's no goddamn timeline for this piece of shit. In reality, it probably needs motor mounts because, let's see if I can get in here. They're fucking shot. I mean, I'm talking shot. This one's aight, but that's transmission. The other one back there is pretty much shot. And this one over here, it's probably alright, but the car rattled at idle, so I'm just gonna go ahead and probably replace that one and be done. The Georgia way of sweeping shit away. Be gone. This greasy old fuck shit. You know, that's the thing about Pittsburgh tools, aka Chinese Emporium, aka Harbor Freight tools. Sometimes they're hit or miss. Most people say don't put your life on them. But I tell you what, they work. These jack stands, I mean, they're 3 ton, and this car is probably diddly fart away from that, but they've been holding up in the wrong damn place because I was too fucking lazy to put them in the right spot. Just for the next owner of this car, there's no indentions or nothing, but I mean, it's been holding these things fine. Of course, safety first. Of course, I have the tires underneath, but because, let's be real, I really don't trust Chinese Emporium shit. But when I have to, it's proven them, or my outlook on them wrong time and time again. My 318. So, getting it out of one of these things is actually not the easiest thing in the world. This is actually not that bad, this angle, but usually there's a bar that runs from over here to here, I'm guessing for stability. Front wheel drive. This setup just, I've seen Civic videos and H22 swaps and shit like that, and even Boosted Boys on the minivan. This just goes in a lot easier than this shit, but I'm just bitching. Alright. Well, we'll see when this gets done.